everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am Emily and I'm so happy you're here for my art journey. So this video is about fun ways to use tone tan paper and kind of an interesting way to use some Pitt pens, and I've got some Mod Podge here too. And then I'm going to also use some POSCA pens. So if you're interested in kind of having some fun with me, then continue watching this video. My supplies, I have some Pitt pens, which are pens that are filled with India ink, but if you use them on like a glossy surface, you can they'll remain wet for a little bit and you can kind of mush them around with your fingers. So we're going to use those, and then I've got some POSCA pens for lining and for highlighters and stuff, and then the Mod Podge is what we're going to use to slick the paper up. But I've already done a few of these in the past. I'm just going to show you. So it's kind of a slick surface we're going to create, and then you use the pens and you can kind of mush them around. There's another one and another one. Oops. My little green fairy. Excuse me. Another one. And then I did this one yesterday. So I really like this bold white outline, so I might do that one again. I've already drawn my face. Maybe another video I'll do a drawing, but just for time's sake, I went ahead and drew her up today. So the first thing we're actually going to do is I'm going to use a sponge brush and some Mod Podge, and I'm going to paint over the surface of this paper. If you want to have a drawing first, instead of kind of making it up as you go with the Pitt pens, go ahead and draw it on your paper first. I love the toned paper because it gives you the medium tone already, and then you go in and you add the dark tones and the highlights. So it's actually really fun to play with. So I already drew her, and I'm going to go ahead and put the Mod Podge down, and I will show you that. I'll speed this part of the video up, but I will show you that the way that I do that as well. I'll put the Mod Podge down and then I'll dry it, and yeah, I'll chat with you when I'm done, okay? She's all dry, and I just kind of put this piece of paper between just to make sure I didn't get Mod Podge all over my desk. So, and then I had already kind of swatched some colors, but okay, so it creates this really, you can see it kind of shining, this slick surface on your paper. So I have this set, this Faber Castell Pitt pen set, which is has a skin tone. It's light skin tones. They do have other sets with like darker shades, but this is the one that I have. I'm going to go a little bit bold today and kind of use some darker shades to get my colors for her skin. So, you know, sometimes it's fun to try different things. So I'm gonna start with the medium, which will be this coral color. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay. So we're just gonna start coloring her in, and then she'll just kind of come to life, but I'm kind of starting with, it'd be kind of the middle color, then this is kind of the lightest, and then this would be the darkest. But I just go in and I'm beginning by just putting it in over like where the shadows would begin. But you just kind of put it on, and you can just start kind of smushing it around with your finger. And then if you put it someplace and you don't like it, you can actually use put that off to the side, a wet wipe to kind of wipe it away, which is kind of cool. I'm sure I will show you that at some point. This time I'm gonna have it look like the light is coming straight on her face. So there would be kind of equal shading. I'm just gonna start kind of putting in where there would be a little bit of shadows. Her hairline would have shadows. I'm kind of going over the eyebrows right now. I'm not worried about that. Kind of right over her hair. I'm always turning my paper. It just makes it easier for me to stay kind of in the lines or the section that I'm going for. A little bit under the eyes here. A little bit more here. And we'll go ahead and get the ears because those are kind of hidden by her hair a little bit. And then there would be a little bit of shading between the nose up kind of into the eyebrow. And then there would be some shadow kind of along the crease of the eye there. Put that in too. And then her neck would also have some shading. So we'll start putting that in. Have you guys ever used Pitt pens before? They're really fun to use. I use them a lot in mixed media, like when I paint with acrylics, and then I'll use these for the shading portion. I can thank Karen Campbell, an amazing artist, for introducing me to Pitt pens several years ago. I fell in love with them and her style. You should definitely go check out Awesome Art School. And then there would be some shading under her nose. Kind of down in the middle here. A little bit on the sides. And you can bring the shading for the nose down even farther, but for this time I'm just going to kind of leave it like that. There would be a little bit under her lips. And I'm just kind of rubbing my finger a little bit, or I'll just kind of gently tap it with my finger. And then after a while, my finger will get dirty and I'll just use a wet wipe to kind of clean it off before I move on to the next color. All right, so we'll put that one off to the side. So now I'm gonna start coloring in a little bit less spot than what I did already. And again, I'm just kind of smushing that around a little bit. And it's just kind of darkening that shadow that I already put down. Now you can put a couple of layers down. After a while, you'll start kind of removing some of the color you've already put down. So you can do as many layers of Mod Podge as you want. So a lot of times, if I want to deepen the shadows even more, I will just do another layer of Mod Podge. And then that way it's kind of like giving me a brand new surface, and it just locks in what I've already put down on the paper. So I do like to do that, and I might do that today because I really want to kind of make her bold. It's scary to do that sometimes. I know when I first started kind of drawing faces, I was really timid with my shading. I was just like, oh gosh, it's so dark, but it's so dramatic, and it ends up just being so beautiful. So I've really tried to embrace that a lot more in my journey, my creative journey, just kind of trying to be bold and try new things. I mean, this is just a sketchbook, so this is where you try new stuff, you know, step outside your comfort zone and just try it. It's all you can do. And let's put some more under her neck. With shading, it's layers. With any medium, it's going to be layers. That's how you build up the darker colors. You get those layers, and then it really builds and can create some really beautiful things here. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you here if I can find my wife's tape. I got a little bit of color in her hair, which I'm not super worried about, but just so you can kind of see. Zoom back in a little bit. It's hard to see it, but right in here. So you can literally just take a wet wipe and it just wipes right off. So if there's any spots you're like, oh no, it's too much, you can just kind of go in and remove it. Okay. Zoom back out here. So I'm gonna wait to really deepen her skin tone until I'm gonna put another layer of Mod Podge, but not quite yet. We'll do some more kind of mid-tones first, and then we'll go in with the Mod Podge layer and deepen some stuff up. But I decided I was gonna give her pink hair. So I'm gonna actually just kind of start with the lighter pink, which is Pink Matter Lake. And I'm always turning my paper because I want the tip of whatever I'm using to kind of be on the edge so that I can kind of stay inside my lines. But I'm just going to kind of be streaky. I lay it down and then I just kind of literally am just scooting it with my finger. And with hair, you want to go in the directionality of the hair. So I'm kind of trying to stay in the direction that I'm having her hair face. This one's kind of going out. We're just kind of putting the first little layer in here. So I got her first little layer of hair in. I'm actually going to go ahead and put some in her eyebrows. And I actually think I might use this to also color her little cheekies. I just like to do a little, I just wiped off my finger. I was kind of getting quite a lot of color on my finger. And for that, I just will start kind of building up wherever I want her little rosy cheeks to be. Put a little down, kind of smush it around a little bit. Obviously you can go as heavy or as light as you want. Again, I usually will do some and then I'll put another layer of Mod Podge on and then kind of deepen it up. You can decide if you want circles or if you want it to look like it's giving her a little bit more of cheekbones. It's really up to you. Try to make them, you know, fairly close on each side. Oops. Doesn't always work that way, but There we go. And it's good just to repeat colors too in a drawing or painting sometimes. Keep it kind of a minimalistic color palette. So I think I'll go ahead and use this for her lips as well. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and just color them all in one color right now. Just giving it a base color. There we go. Okay. Put that off to the side there. I'm going to go ahead and go in with a second color for her hair. A little bit of a darker color. I will have my Instagram information in the description box. So if you create something with the Pitt pens, kind of following along this idea, I would love for you to tag me on there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make her eyes green, and I'm probably gonna make it like just put like she has like a little bit of a green top on as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use light green to start with. I'm going to wipe off my finger, get that pink off of there. Okay. And I'm just going to literally completely just color those all the way in. And I won't really mess with them too much, just kind of let them, just kind of let that sit a little bit there. Okay. And then we'll zoom back out here. Okay, so I lost you there for a few minutes. I'm back, and all I've done is, I want to zoom in so I can kind of show you, is I put the green in here for her shirt, and then I did go ahead and put another layer of Mod Podge on, and I dried it. I'm going to try to show you. You can kind of see the little bumps here. There you go. The one thing that I want you to remember, and that I always do, is I make sure when I'm putting the Mod Podge on anything that I'm using or doing it on, is I kind of go with the contours of whatever I'm covering. So when I put it on, I kind of went in the contours of her face, and then the same as her hair, because it will leave kind of some little marks or lines, I guess, if you will, like a texture. So I just want to make sure that it's kind of following the natural flow of whatever I'm covering. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. So now we're going to go ahead and go in and put another layer. So putting the Mod Podge over it just gives you a brand new surface to keep building those colors, or the layers. So let me see here. I think I'm gonna go, this is the darkest one. Let me look at it again. That's pretty dark, but let me see what this one is. Maybe I'll go with that one. This one is Pink Carmine. So let's see. I'm trying to decide. This is going to be bold. So like I said before, it's kind of scary to do that. But you know what? If I hate it, I can still wipe it off. I'm just going to kind of go, and I'm going to kind of mush that in. Kind of go around the eye here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Just going kind of right along her cheek line there. And then I'm just kind of smushing it in. A little bit more here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll fast forward this part. You can just kind of watch what I'm doing, but I'm just going to start or keep creating some layers. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some more in her lips. I'm actually going to go to a darker pink here. This one is middle purple pink actually. And I'm going to color the top lip in with this color. The top lip is generally darker than the bottom lip. So we'll color that in. And I still kind of just dab it a little bit with my finger. And then I'll color just a little bit kind of on the sides where it would be a little bit darker. And again, I'm just kind of gently kind of touching it. Sorry, I'm gonna turn it upside down. I know it's probably weird that I do that, but I always just like to show you kind of exactly how I kind of do things and kind of the method to my madness. And then you can go back in with that original pink. We can kind of color that little highlight spot, and we'll actually be coming back in with a white paint pen so it really brightens everything up. I haven't done this yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and put a shadow in where I kind of put her shirt in. And I'll use this first. Just gonna dry that on and then kind of mush it in. Mush, mushy mush mush. Does anybody else love drawing faces like I do? Tell me in the comments. So many faces, so little time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put a darker layer of green in her eyes. The first one, I think I said I used light green. Now I'm gonna try May green. But I'm not gonna put it everywhere. I'm gonna put it kind of in the top portion, like where her eyelid would be. And then I kind of will do it just kind of along the sides as well. And then I'll just kind of gently touch it. I still need to put her pupil in, so. And then I will go ahead and just add a little bit of the darker green kind of in her shirt. Her shirt, I say, just. And then just kind of spread that around. I'm going to put a little bit more of this pink matter in her cheeks. Kind of darken those in a little bit. Kind of go in a little bit more dramatic, I guess. Whoops. I'll be able to show you how I use the wet wipe. Sometimes I smush it and sometimes I just tap it. It kind of just depends on the area and how much of the color I have down. Sometimes I'll just pat it so I'm not trying to move around all the other colors that I have. I got this little part here that I don't like. So I just have a little wet wipe here and I just wiped it off. Voila! I'm gonna put a little bit more kind of under her nose here. Go. You don't even have to mush it all the time. Sometimes you can just kind of let it do its thing. But her actual skin tone, I'm just having be the paper. So everything else is just adding the darkest darks, and I'll be adding the lightest lights. So I think I'm gonna get a little bit of a darker green even to put in her eyes. That's pretty. I'm just gonna kind of go across where the lid is and just deepen that up a little bit. I like the contrast of having kind of a dramatic eye, if you will. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this darker pink carmine and really zhuzh it up. Get a little dramatic. Now when I go up against her face, I make sure I smush it the opposite direction instead of towards her face, because then the ink's just going to kind of go into her face. So that's another thing to kind of remember. You want to kind of pull away from any area that you don't want it to be. Go back in with that original pink. I can kind of blend it together a little bit. And then there's a little spot right here. It's kind of hard to see, but that I don't like. So I'm gonna get the wet wipe again. And I'm just gonna kind of wipe that away. Okay, I quite like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put my third layer. I don't always do 3 layers, but I'm gonna go ahead and seal this, and I'll let you guys watch me do it this time. And then we're gonna go ahead and go in with the black and the white and start kind of adding our details and everything, which is the super fun part. So I will speed this part up and be back in a few. Okay, so she's all dry. One thing I hope you noticed when I was painting her with the Mod Podge, like I said, I kind of went, you know, along her contours and stuff. And then one thing to remember also, when it's like a really bold color, sometimes I have to kind of dab off because it'll get a little bit of that color in there. So you just want to be kind of careful so you're not scooching that around too much. Okay, so now we are going to start adding in some details. I'm gonna start with a black POSCA pen. It's, I believe, the thinnest tip there is. Zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, you can really see the texture. I like to start kind of with the eyes a lot of times. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill in where her pupil would be. Get that out of the way. Try to let you see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to put the black of her pupil. I never can make each of them look exactly the same, no matter how hard I try. I just try to make them as similar as possible. Kind of going back and forth until I'm happy. no eyes are exactly the same. And then I'm gonna kind of outline. I also don't always use this. It's thin, but I do like to use permanent liners as well. They have like 0.5, 0.1, if you really want like a skinnier one, but the POSCA pins are pretty fun. So yep, just gave her some dark eyeliner because the shapes are different. Oh goodness, too funny. As I always say, it's just paper, right? We're practicing, just kind of showing you a different kind of fun technique to use with some different supplies. Okay, so for the nose and the little inside of the mouth, I am going to switch to, this is a 0.1. I just don't like it to be so thick. There we go. And then I'm going to go in with a white POSCA pen. And I'm going to use, they make another one that's kind of like a line. Oh, it's 0.7. But I think I'm going to start with the 1.3. It's a little bit chunkier. Then I'm gonna take, it depends, sometimes I use a chunkier one, but I think for this one I'm gonna go ahead and use this one, the 0.7, for her eyelashes. At least I'm gonna start with it. I may end up changing it. Now, eyelashes can drive me crazy because one eye always looks better. My right one does better because I have a better flow. Sometimes I'll start with the left one to kind of see how they go and then try to match it the other way. So with eyelashes, I just want to make sure my pen's working. You never want to shake a POSCA pen over your painting or your drawing, or because it can splatter paint out. Just another tip for you. But with eyelashes, you gotta commit. You just gotta go for it. And with eyelashes, they kind of, if this is the eye, they follow, like if this is the left eye, goes out, 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 and then it kind of goes up and down, and then it goes the opposite direction. Okay. And then I'm going to put some over here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put hers over here on the outside of her hair just because I want you to see them better. And I'm actually going to put a little white down here because you actually do have like this little lash line down here. Again, this isn't realistic. I'm really kind of a doodler. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw just a few little baby lashes. Right there. And now I just kind of start looking for any areas that I need to kind of go over. And then sometimes I'll put lines in the lips. I'm not going to do that today, but I do like to put a highlight. And on the bottom lip, I kind of just do some sporadic scribbles. And then there is, sometimes I'll put just like a tiny little highlight just on the top of the lips there. And then I like to put one kind of on the sides. You can also put a highlight like on the top of her lip, but I'm not going to do that this time. And then, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more of this darker red. I'm not going to mush it. I'm just going to kind of add it. And I still want her cheeks to be a little bit bolder. She's going out tonight. Of course, I start doing things and then I'm like, ugh. I feel like I mess it up sometimes. Normally I would do all this little doodly stuff before I put the highlights in, but as I look at it, I just kind of like to do some last minute finishing touches. I can put those little highlights back in. Sometimes it's nice just to add some more details just to kind of liven it up a little bit. Let me make this darker. There we go. And then I can't ever have a background just plain. So I'm gonna shake this up and I'll make that quiet. Okay. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot her eyes, my favorite dots. So whatever you do, that one's actually a little big. Whatever you do in one eye, you have to do the exact thing on the other eye. So wherever you put the highlight, you have to put it in the same spot on the other side. And I usually do at least 2. And then sometimes I even will take a smaller one and put like a little line in as well. She's got starry eyes. There, but you want them to be fairly identical. So there's our girl. I'm pretty happy with her. But she really comes together after you put all the black and the white in there and kind of makes her pop. So thank you so much for watching me just kind of have fun, and hopefully you'll get inspired to try something like this on your own. And as I said, I will have my Instagram in the comments if you want to tag me on there. And thank you again so much for continuing to follow me on my journey, and I will see you real soon. Okay, bye guys.